Shalom, Kohalo Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, including the elders that came before them, that taught us his truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers that push the word in truth and in sincerity. The hopeful elect tabernacle of David. I'm the brother Yeshuan, back with the WW3 Daily update. And today we're going to speak on these laser beams, okay? You got laser beams everywhere, all right? The chariots of God, all right, these things. There you have Moses, the Red Sea. You got the chariots of the Most High, all right, the clouds, if you will, the mountain, all right. These chariots have weapon systems on them because they're war chariots, all right. They have weapon systems on them, all right. And where it is this devil right here, the serpent, the dragon, right? The great red dragon, the devil and Satan. He's got weapon systems on his chariots as well, okay? See the blue angels there? All right, that's Satan and his blue angels, right? And they got weapons. But the Most High don't have superior weapons. God and the angels and his son Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, they don't have superior firepower over these things? Of course they do. Okay? Of course they do. So where these guys got their little lasers, right? You think these lasers aren't better? Would God, if God is omniscient or omnipotent, right? Is he going to give them, his adversary, the technology to overcome them? Of course not. It doesn't make sense. All right, so anyway, this is Revelation 2 and 12. And to the angel of the church of Pergamos write, these things saith he which hath the sharp sword with two edges. What is that sharp sword with two edges? Okay? This is Revelation 2 and 16. Repent, or else I will come unto thee quickly and will fight against them with the sword of my mouth. Okay? Right? And how do you know these things? Because we have been given to eat of the hidden manna. All right? All right, so there's that. Let's go to Revelation 19. Sorry, bear with me. The quickest way. So Revelation 19 and 14, is it? 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. What do you mean a white horse? Where's that white horse there? White horse, if you want to ride. Don't ride the bun. There it is. There's the white horse. All right. And I saw heaven open. Heaven means the sky. Came out of the fourth dimension into the third. And behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness doth he judge and make war. We're in the time of judgment. We're in the time of war. Okay? We know who this is talking about. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God. Who is the Word? Yahushua, when you ignorantly call Jesus. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. These guys. The angels were following the one you ignorantly called Jesus. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations. What is that Sharp sword. What is that? Let's investigate. This is Isaiah 14. Okay, because this is about a war, is it not? Oh, I thought this was about World War III. Well, shut up and listen. It is about World War III. And I'm not going to pity pat with you. I'm going to show you what it is. What is this? Oh, 11. It's lucky. Isaiah 11:4. But with righteousness shall he judge the poor and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth, and he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth. Okay, the rod of his mouth is that laser, right? And his voice, he's going to call it different things. And with the breath of his lips shall he slay. What does that mean? That's the weapon systems on these war chariots. No, it's not. You say what you want to. I'm going to keep proving. I'm going to keep showing and proving. This is Revelation 1. Let's read 16. And he had in his right hand 7 stars, and out of his mouth went a sharp 2-edged sword. Out of his mouth. And his countenance was as the sun shineth in his strength. Okay? Why do we keep reading about out of his mouth? Okay? Let's go back to 19. And I saw, this is World War III right here, and I saw the beast. Who's the beast? The beast is NATO and the EU, right? And the U.S., part of NATO. What are they doing right now? They're pushing Vladimir to they're provoking this thing, this war. And the kings of the earth, that's Vladimir, that's Smokey Joe, all right, and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse, it's the one you ignorantly call Jesus, and against his army. Those are the angels. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast and them that worshipped his image. These were both cast alive into the lake of fire burning with brimstone. That's the nuclear missiles. And the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceedeth out of his mouth. What is that talking about? Okay. Well, we keep going. All right. Back and forth. This sword that coming out of his mouth is everywhere. Let's go back to Isaiah 30. Isaiah 30 and what? 33. For Tophet is ordained of old, for the king is prepared. He hath made it deep and large. The pile thereof is a fire and much wood. The breath of the Lord, like a stream of brimstone, doth he kindle it. The breath, that's that laser, like a stream of brimstone. These are the weapon systems that are on these craft. All right. Let's take it a little further. We can go over here to the Apocrypha. All right. Let's start right here. And I beheld, and lo, that man you call Jesus, his name is Yahushua, waxed strong with the thousands of heavenly angels. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. Let's talk about his countenance. It's talking about this, his war chariot. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, there it is again, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire, the concentrated fire, which is called a laser beam. Okay? But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain. She'll be coming around the mountain. Look that up. And flew up upon it. Okay? And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet there's fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, that's his voice, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them. That blast of fire is a laser. Burn them up, every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. All right? Those are the weapon systems on those chariots, on those mountains, on those clouds. All right? On these that far surpass this technology. This goes straight. This disappears, goes at right angles. Okay? Submersible. Come on. All right, let's watch this. Uh-oh. Military Leaks channel. January 13th. What's today? 13th? It's today or yesterday. Not sure. Gotta look. Let me look real quick. Today is the 13th. Okay, so that's today. U.S. tests what? Deadly what? Laser weapon. On what? On its fighter jets. Okay. Let's take a look at this. All right. So if these things can have lasers, certainly these do. Well, if they can fly and make war in their little war, certainly these can. All right. Don't have me get the Pentagon UFO video up to remind you what the hell is actually going on.
The U.S. tests deadly laser weapon on its fighter jets. Here's what you need to remember. If these developments come to fruition, dogfighting will never be the same. A few years back in 2018, the Air Force Research Laboratory, AFRL, tested a fiber optic laser at the White Sands Test Range in New Mexico that successfully shot down multiple air-launched missiles in flight. The Self-Protect High Energy Laser Demonstrator, SHIELD, pictured here, currently exists as a bulky, ground-based demonstrator. However, the Air Force is optimistic that SHIELD can be shrunk to a small pod that could be tested on an F-15 fighter by 2021 and eventually also integrated into F-16 and F-35 single-engine fighters.
Better hurry up. Time is running short, devil. And you're not going to win. All right? Talk about the Most High. How about Shemiel? He hasn't perfected everything. He's trying to mount shit. Going back to Nazi Germany, Die Glocke, right? Hanebu 1, 2, 3. All right, they were trying to mount some sort of weapon systems on their primitive chariots. All right, check that out. Anyway.
Some sources suggest the system may see its first flight tests on C-17 or C-130 cargo planes later in 2019. If airborne lasers prove as viable and effective as expected, then future laser weapons could profoundly transform aerial warfare by increasing the survivability of fighters, bombers, and even tankers and transport planes to deadly anti-aircraft missiles. Further down the line, lasers could eventually serve as very fast and precise air-to-air and air-to-ground weapons with virtually unlimited magazines. This article will first look at the strengths, limitations, and implications of aerial laser weapons, then look at 3 aerial laser weapon initiatives currently being pursued by the Pentagon.
Hey, it's a rave.
Laser weapons are growing rapidly in prominence, from small arms and tank-mounted laser dazzlers used by China, to ground or helicopter-mounted anti-drone missile lasers tested by the Army, and close defense systems on U.S. Navy ships. Lasers possess the advantage of exceptional speed. It's hard to beat the speed of light, stealth and precision, as well as extremely low cost per shot and virtually unlimited magazines. However, lasers require a lot of power to remain coherent over long distances.
All right, and we already know
The
who
US
has it already perfected, all right? So you don't have that much time, devil. Your time is up. You need more develop. See, and you get everything, first of all right? You get everything that you think you came up with, all right? You get it from the Most High. Proverbs 20 and 24. Man's goings are of the Lord. All right. How can a man then understand his own way? You don't know what you're doing. Who gave you the blueprints for a damn laser? Let's read the NIV. A person's steps are directed by Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. How then can anyone understand his own way? All right. Let's read this for shits and giggles. Even a courageous person, yeah, courageous enough to get up there and get turned into dust and smoke. Steps are determined by the Lord. All right. This is Ezekiel 35. Isaiah 54. Behold, this is Isaiah 54 and 16. Behold, I have created the blacksmith, if you will, that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. This is the Most High. I put it in the mind of the nuclear scientists to create those missiles, right? Lasers, whatever. But I didn't give him the full power that I could have given him. All right? All right, so that is pretty much, is what it is. Okay, let's take a quick look into World War III. I already showed you the outcome. Dust and smell of smoke of all of the armies. Let's look at this channel real quick. 56 minutes ago, Battlefield Ethiopia. Operation Kick in the Door. Here we go. What they mounting on there. Okay, Russian-Ukraine conflict, January 12th. Let's take a look at this. This is pretty important as things ratchet up, wouldn't you say?
If you have bleeding or receding gut.
Slovakia. Gotta have commercials. See what the voice of reason.
Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. Today we're continuing our coverage of the ongoing situation between Ukraine and the Russian Federation. It's January 12th, 2022. We continue to hear about the deployment of Russian forces along the border with Ukraine. We are hearing in some reports that the Russian buildup in terms of heavy armored forces may be slowing. So again, we don't really know what that means, but there is already a significant concentration of Russian forces in excess of, depending on which source you are looking at or hearing from, again, anywhere from a total force composition of 90 to upwards to 150,000 personnel. But again, very difficult to say at this point what Putin is doing and what the Russian general staff current assignments are at this point. With that being said, there appears to be other buildups underway, specifically the deployment of additional helicopter assets and fixed-wing strike aircraft being further deployed to the border of Ukraine. And in my previous episode, I talked about the prospect of something, if there is a conflict, we could see something different than what we traditionally see from the Russian armed forces. I think
asymmetric warfare. Okay, so that thing is still kicking up. Now, I saw something interesting about Japan. See if we can find that. It said that Russia was sending ships. Let's see, 21 hours. Conflict, Israel. No. Okay, not there. Let's look at Deep Journal. Right here. Breaking. This is the Deep Journal channel. Breaking 3 hours ago. Russia deploys T-80BVs to invade Japan. What the hell is that? Looks like World War, does it not? Russia, see, first of all, America is the ancient Roman Empire revived, the little horn that sprung back up, okay, if you will. All right. The one with the deadly wound that was healed. Okay, so what happened to ancient Rome? They spread themselves too thin. And I'm talking about the military, all right? That's how they got taken down. They spread themselves too thin. Well, what's going on? What is Vladimir doing? He's setting up all these different fronts. If he's over here about to attack Japan, what is he doing? He's going to force his enemies to come over here and protect Japan. They have an alliance. He's going to spread them thin. Let's take a look at this after the commercial. And then we'll go ahead and close it up. All right.
Dear listeners, welcome to the Deep Journal channel. By subscribing to our channel, you can be informed about detailed reports every time. Tensions did not calm down after clashes between Russia and Japan in December 2021. Tensions between Russia and Japan in the United States increased gradually after the Russian and Chinese navies passed through the Strait of Japan in order to break the U.S. pressure in the South China Sea. The relations between the two countries are already broken because of the Kuril Islands. While Japan wants to dominate the islands, Russia aims to consolidate its control in these islands. Today, Russia has transferred an unprecedented number of new jet tanks to the Kuril Islands. By deploying several dozen state-of-the-art T-80BV tanks on the islands, Russia has maximized its defensive dominance. In terms of its characteristics, the tank acts in accordance with all kinds of terrain conditions, and its ability to fight in harsh conditions proves that it will be a great power on the island. At the same time, Russia is disturbed by the repeated entry of the U.S. Navy into the Sea of Okhotsk. In a statement made by a source affiliated with the Russian Ministry of Defense, it was announced that if the U.S. Navy violates the borders again, Russia will heavily attack the U.S. Navy. It is stated in the statements that preparations have been made and that many war exercises have been carried out in order to hit the targets with full accuracy.
Get the point? So all these different fronts, right? You got China and Taiwan. You got the theater up there in the north, Russia and Ukraine, Kazakhstan. You got the Middle East, which is where the main jumping off point, right? And the main extermination is going to be. All right, let's take a look at that. is, let's go to Joel 3. Joel 3 and 2. I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. What is God doing? We'll gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. That's in the Middle East proper. But World War III, this is World War III. Okay. All right. God is gathering the armies of the world. This is Joel 3 and 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war and wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. All right. Jump down to 11. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about, that the cause of mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Okay. 14. Multitudes. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near. In the valley of decision. All right. This war is going to happen, period. Because God is the one that's doing it. All right. Setting up an ambush to avenge his people. Right. And I will plead with him there for my people, for my heritage, Israel. Okay. That's what he's doing. Let's go to Revelation. We'll get out of here. Revelation 11 and 14. Just to let you know what is going on. Revelation 11:14. The second woe, the Second World War, is past. And behold, look, can't you see it? The third woe, the Third World War, cometh quickly. All right, so we hope that the elect were edified with this update. And tomorrow's the last one of the week. We'll see you then. Go back and check out the other World War III daily updates so that you can understand what is going on filtered through the scriptures. All right? Everything it says in this book is going to happen. We see it jumping off right now. All right, so with that, we're going to say shalom.